The door flew open. Nokwanda Dlamini walked into Chairman Kang's boardroom like she owned every inch of it, like the marble floors, the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul, the 12 lawyers in their 12 expensive suits. All of it belonged to her. She was wearing white, deliberately, a Zulu woman in white, walking into a room full of wolves. She sat down across from Chairman Kang without being invited. He stared at her. This man who had destroyed families. This man who had bought judges, silenced journalists, and built an empire on the bones of people who trusted him. He stared at this 27-year-old woman from Durban, and for the first time in 40 years, he looked afraid. "You have 30 seconds to explain why you called this meeting," he said. Nokwanda opened a single folder and slid across the table. "I don't need 30 seconds, she said. "Sign everything in that folder, every page, every line. Or by 6 o'clock this morning, every newspaper in Korea, South Africa, and Japan publishes what's inside it. And then the ones in London, and then the ones in New York." A lawyer lunged forward to grab the folder. Nokwanda placed her hand firmly on top of it, without even looking at him. "Touch that before your client reads it," she said quietly. "And the files go out right now from a scheduled send. I cannot stop, even if I wanted to." The lawyer sat back down. Chairman Kang opened the folder. His face didn't change, but his hands. His hands told the truth his face was trying to hide. They trembled, slightly, just enough. "How?" he said, not a question. A surrender dressed up as a question. "How did a Zulu girl from Durban bring down the most powerful crime family in Seoul?" Nokwanda tilted her head. "Let me take you all the way back to the beginning." 3 years earlier, Nokwanda Dlamini was sitting in a tiny apartment in Mapogu, eating instant noodles, video calling her mother at midnight because the loneliness of Seoul had a particular weight she hadn't expected. Kwanda, her mother's face filled the phone screen, that Durban kitchen behind her, warm and yellow lit, and so far away it physically hurt. "Come home, I'm telling you. Korea is not for us." "Mama, I'm fine. You are eating cup noodles at midnight and you have dark circles under your eyes. That is not fine. That is suffering. It's called building a life. It's called stubbornness." Her mother kissed her teeth. "Your father, God rest him, loved this idea of Korea. But your father is gone, Kwanda. You don't have to chase his dream." Nokwanda was quiet for a moment. Then, "I'm not chasing his dream, Mama. I'm chasing mine. His just pointed me in the right direction." Her mother looked at her for a long time through that screen. Then she sighed, the particular sigh of a woman who knows she has raised someone too, strong to stop. "Call me tomorrow," she said. "Every day," Nokwanda promised. She kept that promise every single day, even the day everything fell apart. She had built her life in Seoul carefully, deliberately, the way she did everything. She learned Korean until she dreamed in it. She took her South African accounting qualifications and had them recognized by 3 Korean institutions. She built a reputation for being the most precise, most discreet forensic accountant in the city. Her clients were powerful. Her fees were high. Her silence was absolute. That was how she ended up inside Hukryong Inc. The name meant Black Dragon. She found that out later. At the time, it was just another corporate account. A referral from a colleague who whispered, "Don't ask questions. Just balance the numbers and take the money." She should have walked away then. She knew that now. But the money was extraordinary, and her mother's roof needed fixing. And sometimes life makes decisions for you by making the wrong choice look like the only choice. Her first week, she saw Kang Jae-won exactly once. A tall man in a dark coat moving through a corridor like the building rearranged itself around him. He didn't look at her. She didn't look at him. That was fine. That was professional. That was safe. The second week changed everything. It was 11:45 at night. She was alone in the office, surrounded by financial documents, 3 empty coffee cups, and a determination to find the recipe hiding in Q2 before she went home. She heard movement in the break room. Then she smelled it. the particular smell of ramyeon broth, which, at this point in her soul life, meant comfort and survival in equal measure. She ignored it, kept working. Then Kang Jae-won appeared in the doorway of the break room, holding 2 bowls. He looked at her working. He looked at the empty coffee cups. He looked at the clock on the wall. He walked over and set 1 bowl on the desk beside her documents, without a word. Then he went and sat on the couch across the room with his own bowl and his own phone and completely minded his business. She stared at the bowl, then at him, then at the bowl. "I don't eat with clients," she said. "I didn't invite you to eat with me," he said without looking up from his phone. "I just put food near you. Whether you eat it is your own decision." She didn't eat it for 7 minutes. Then the smell won. She ate it in 4 minutes because she was famished, and it was the best thing she'd tasted in weeks. And when she finished, she looked up and found him watching her with something that wasn't quite a smile, but lived in the same neighborhood. "Good?" he asked. "It was acceptable," she said. He laughed, actually laughed, and she understood immediately, from the way his whole face changed, from the way it seemed to surprise even him, that Kang Jae-won did not laugh easily or often. She went home that night and called Themba. "I think I'm in trouble," she said. "Work trouble or feelings trouble?" Themba asked. She didn't answer. Kwanda, no. Tell me it's work trouble." She hung up. If you're already feeling this story, hit that like button right now. And if you're new here, subscribe, because we are just getting started, and trust us, you do not want to miss what's coming. The next 18 months were the most alive Nokwanda had ever felt. Jae-won never did anything dramatic. That was the thing about him that undid her completely. He never showed up with flowers or grand speeches or the kind of gestures that are easy to perform and mean nothing. He showed up in small ways, consistent ways, the kind of ways that reach past a woman's defenses before she even realizes her defenses are down. He learned that she got cold easily, so winters hit different when you grew up in Durban, and so he kept a spare coat on, the hook behind his office door. Just in case, he never mentioned it. She just noticed one frozen evening that it was there, and that it was her size, and that it smelled like his cologne, and she stood in that corridor for a full minute trying to remember how to breathe. He asked her once, only once, about her father. She told him, the Korean man from Incheon who fell in love with a Zulu woman from Durban, who gave their daughter 2 languages and 2 worlds and then left both too soon. Jae-won listened without interrupting, without offering comfort she didn't ask for, without making it about himself. When she finished, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "He sounds like someone worth becoming." She didn't cry. She wanted to. She didn't. What she did instead was teach him Zulu. 3 phrases to start. He was catastrophically bad at it, in the most endearing way a man has ever been bad at anything. "Say it again," she said, barely holding herself together. "Ngi gia giaku." He stopped, looked at her. "Why are you making that face?" "I'm not making any face. You are making a very specific face." "Jae-won, that face is me trying not to laugh at you." "Then just laugh. I don't want to discourage you." "Nokwanda, Jae-won, just laugh." She laughed, completely, fully, the kind of laugh that starts in your stomach and takes over your whole body. And he watched her laugh, with an expression so unguarded it almost didn't belong on his face. Like he was seeing something he hadn't known he needed to see until it was right in front of him. "Again," she said, wiping her eyes. "From the beginning, Nyakuthanda," he said. Perfectly, quietly. She went still. Because Nyakuthanda means I love you. And she had told him that when she taught it to him. And he had just said it. Not as a joke, not as a mispronunciation, but clearly, carefully, looking directly at her. "Your pronunciation improved dramatically," she said. "I practiced," he said. "When?" "Every night for 2 weeks." The silence between them was the loudest thing in the room. "Jae-won, I know what it means," he said. "I said it because I know what it means." Jeju Island. A weekend neither of them planned, but both of them needed. A small house near the water. the kind of place where souls couldn't reach them, and the black dragon didn't exist, and they were just two people who had found each other against all reasonable odds. She lay with her head on his chest, listening to the ocean. "If I was a different kind of man," he said quietly, staring at the ceiling, "I would ask you to stay, permanently, no conditions." "What kind of man are you?" she asked. He was quiet for a long time. "The kind with a father who decides everything," he finally said. "The kind who hasn't figured out how to want something his father didn't approve first." She lifted her head and looked at him. "And does your father know about me?" Something moved across his face. Fast. Gone before she could read it. "He knows you work for us," Jae-won said. "That's not what I asked." Another silence, longer this time. "Go to sleep, Nokwanda," he said gently. She put her head back down, stared at the dark, listened to his heartbeat slow into sleep, while hers stayed wide awake and asking questions. That was the first warning sign. She felt it. She cataloged it. And then she loved him anyway, because that is what you do when someone has already found every soft place inside you. You feel the warning and you stay. Because leaving feels like cutting out something that has become part of how you function. She stayed. For another year and a half, she stayed. And in that year and a half, she learned the shape of every room in his life except the ones his father locked. She balanced his books. She restructured his legitimate businesses and quietly noted the illegitimate ones. She learned which of his lieutenants were loyal and which were performing loyalty. She knew his empire better than he did. She knew it so well that when things started shifting, subtly, almost imperceptibly, she felt it before she could name it. Jae-won became unavailable on Tuesday evenings. Then Tuesday and Thursday, his phone went face down in meetings it never used to. A new name appeared twice in emails she wasn't supposed to see and wasn't supposed to remember. She remembered everything. She was a forensic accountant. Remembering details was how she survived. The name was Yuna. She didn't ask. She told herself she was being paranoid. She told herself she trusted him. She told herself that a man who learned Nyakuthanda in Zulu across 2 weeks of private practice was not a man who was hiding something. She told herself these things right up until the night of the Hukryong annual gala. She wore amber. She had spent 3 weeks deciding, not because she was vain, but because she understood instinctively that this evening mattered in a way she couldn't fully articulate yet. She did her hair in a traditional Zulu upstyle. Her mother had taught her how, when she was 9 years old, sitting between her mother's knees on a Sunday afternoon in Durban, she wore it now as armor, as identity, as a quiet declaration in a room that had never fully decided what to do with her presence. She looked for Jae-won at the entrance. He arrived 20 minutes late, with Yuna on his arm, not as a colleague, not as a business associate, as his woman, his hand on the small of her back, his posture open and proud in a way he had never been with Nokwanda in public. Because with Nokwanda in public, there'd always been a careful, managed distance that she had accepted without naming what it cost her. "I'd like to introduce someone very important to me," Jae-won said to the room. 500 people. Champagne and chandelier light. "Yuna will be joining our family going forward." The room applauded. Nokwanda heard her own heartbeat. Loud, then louder, then a ringing silence that swallowed everything. She heard her mother's voice. Clear as a phone call. Clear as Sunday morning in Durban. "A Dlamini woman does not fall apart in public, Kwanda. You fall apart at home, in private, alone. Then you get up. You always get up." Nokwanda reached out and took a fresh glass of champagne from a passing tray. She walked directly toward Jae-won and Yuna through the crowd. And people moved for her, without knowing why, responding to something in her posture that said, "This woman is not to be stopped." She stopped in front of them. Jae-won's face did something complicated and fast that she memorized completely and would examine later in the privacy of her car. She smiled at Yuna, warm, gracious, unreadable. "Welcome," Nokwanda said. "He's a complicated man to love. I hope you know what you've chosen." She clinked Yuna's glass, took a sip, turned, walked away through the crowd without looking back once. She made it to the parking garage, got into her car, closed the door, locked it, and then one tear, just one, running down the left side of her face in the dark of that underground garage while Seoul hummed and glittered above her like it had no idea what it had just witnessed. She wiped it, opened her laptop, and started to work. Themba. Her voice on the phone was flat and controlled in the way that Themba had learned over 27 years meant the opposite of calm. Kwanda, it's 2 in the morning. I need you to be awake. A rustling, a lamp clicking on in Durban. I'm awake. Talk to me. He chose someone else tonight. In public. In front of everyone. Silence. Kwanda. I'm not calling for comfort. I'm calling because I need someone to know where I am and what I'm doing in case something happens. A longer silence. The kind that meant Themba was sitting up straight now. What are you doing, Nokwanda? I'm pulling 3 years of financial records, she said, her fingers already moving across the keyboard. Because the man I loved just humiliated me in front of 500 people, and something about the timing doesn't feel like heartbreak. It feels like a setup. A setup, Themba repeated slowly. His father never liked me, and men like Chairman Kang don't simply dislike people. They use them, or they remove them. She clicked open an encrypted folder, then another, then a third. I built their entire financial architecture for 3 years, Themba. If they wanted someone to blame for something, I would be the perfect person. So what are you going to do? She found the first thread. Pulled it. I'm going to find out, she said. Exactly what I've been standing in the middle of without knowing it. She was on the phone with Themba for 4 more minutes. Then she hung up and worked in silence for 6 hours straight. And what she found in those 6 hours didn't just break her heart further. It set something in her chest on fire that had no intention of going out. If this story is hitting different, you already know what to do. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and drop a comment telling us, would you have walked away? Because we are about to find out what Nokwanda found in those files, and nothing will ever be the same. The file that changed everything was labeled Project Baobab. Nokwanda stared at it for a full 30 seconds before she opened it. Something in her, the part that had grown up watching her mother navigate a world that constantly underestimated her, knew that once she opened this file, there was no version of her life that stayed the same. She opened it anyway. What she found inside was not just corruption, it was architecture. Deliberate, layered, breathtakingly detailed architecture built over 4 years by a man who thought about destruction the way other men thought about legacy. Chairman Kang had been running a shadow operations underneath Hyukryong's legitimate front, siphoning funds from 4 rival syndicates simultaneously, routing the money through shell companies in 3 countries, and building toward one enormous, catastrophic exit. He was going to take everything, disappear the money into untraceable accounts. And when the rival syndicates came looking, and they would come looking, they would find a trail that led directly to the forensic accountant who had built the financial system from the inside. A trail that led to Nokwanda. She sat back in her chair. She understood it all at once, the way a puzzle doesn't reveal itself piece by piece, but all at once, suddenly, like your eyes finally adjusting to a dark room and realizing the furniture was always there. Yuna wasn't just a woman Chairman Kang had chosen for his son. Yuna was the mechanism for removing Jae-won's protection of Nokwanda, because as long as Jae-won cared about her, he was an obstacle. Replace Nokwanda in his life, and suddenly she was just an employee, just a foreign woman with access to sensitive files, just the perfect scapegoat. And the Korean South African trading family, named in the documents the Park and Lovu family, who ran an import business between Johannesburg and Incheon. They were the secondary target, legitimate business people whose accounts Chairman Kang had quietly mirrored into his shadow system, making it appear as though they were co-conspirators. Her mother knew the Ndlovu side of that family, had known them for 20 years. Nokwanda closed the laptop, put both hands flat on the desk, breathed in for 4 counts, out for 4, in again. Then she opened the laptop and kept working. By 5 in the morning, she had everything she needed. By 6, she had it organized into 3 separate encrypted drives. By 7, she was in the shower, getting dressed, and making the kind of decisions that require a completely clear head and absolutely no fear. She called Themba at 7:15. "I know what they did," she said, "and I know what I'm going to do about it. Kwanda, please tell me you're going to the police." The chief of the Financial Crimes Unit has received 3 payments from Chairman Kang in the last 18 months. Silence. The deputy chief also compromised. A longer silence. "So what then?" Themba asked. "You just let them win?" Themba. Her voice was patient, quiet, absolute. "When have you ever known me to let anyone win?" She moved in silence. That was the first principle. A woman making noise announces herself. A woman moving in silence is already 3 steps ahead before anyone realizes she left the room. Her first move was the Park Ndlovu family. She called their office and asked for a meeting that same afternoon. She arrived at their small import warehouse in Yeongdongpo with a bag containing 3 encrypted drives and a folder of printed documents, organized so clearly that even someone with no financial background could follow the story they told. Mr. Park opened the door. He was 63 years old, slight, with careful eyes that had seen enough of the world to know when something serious was walking toward him. "Mrs. Dlamini," he said carefully, "what is this about?" "Can we sit down?" she said. "I have something to show you, and not very much time." Inside, his wife, Mrs. Ndlovu Park, poured tea with the particular grace of a woman performing normalcy while her instincts screamed. Their adult daughter, Senna, sat beside them, watching Nokwanda spread documents across their kitchen table with an expression caught somewhere between alarm and fascination. Nokwanda walked them through everything. She didn't soften it. She didn't perform sympathy. She gave them the truth with both hands and let them feel the full weight of it, because they needed the full weight to understand what was coming and how fast they needed to move. When she finished, the kitchen was completely silent. Mrs. Ndlovu Park's hand was over her mouth. Mr. Park was staring at a document showing his company's account numbers embedded inside Chairman Kang's shadow system. Sina was the first to speak. "How do we fight this?" Nokwanda pulled out a 4th folder. Legal contacts in Seoul and Johannesburg. A financial crimes barrister in London who has precedent with exactly this type of case. A detailed brief they can use to build an immediate injunction. She slid it across. "File within 48 hours. Don't wait." "Why are you doing this?" Mr. Park asked. "You worked for them. You have more to lose than to gain by." "They were going to frame me and destroy your family," Nokwanda said simply. "I don't need any reason beyond that." Mrs. Ndlovu Park reached across the table and took Nokwanda's hand in both of hers. She said in Zulu softly, "Njiyabonga Ntombi." "Thank you, daughter." It was the only moment in the entire operation where Nokwanda came close to losing her composure. She pressed the older woman's hands gently, stood up, and left before her face could betray her. Her second move was the rivals. This required a different kind of preparation. These were not frightened civilians. These were men who had built power on violence and maintained it through fear. Walking into a room with them alone was either the bravest thing she had ever done or the most reckless. She had decided it was both and proceeded anyway. 4 meetings. 4 different locations across Seoul. She requested each one through intermediaries, identifying herself only as someone with information about Chairman Kang that affected their operations directly. The fact that all 4 agreed to meet told her everything she needed to know about how thin Chairman Kang's goodwill had worn among his allies. The first meeting was in a private room above a restaurant in Itaewon. 3 men in suits who looked at her when she walked in with expressions ranging from surprise to amusement. She sat down, She opened her folder. The amusement left the room within 90 seconds. "He has been skimming from your operations for 3 years," she said. "These are the account numbers. These are the transaction dates. This is the cumulative total." She tapped the page. "That number there, that is what he owes you." The man at the head of the table leaned forward slowly. "And you're bringing this to us because I want your neutrality," she said. "When his operation collapses, and it will collapse, I want your word that you will not interfere, not to protect him, not to retaliate against anyone connected to the exposure. And in exchange, you give us this information. In exchange, I give you the evidence to recover every cent he took from you through your own legal channels." She closed the folder. "I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm asking you to do nothing. That's a considerably easier request." He studied her for a long moment. "You're not afraid," he said, almost admiringly. "I'm terrified," she said. "But I grew up in Durban. We don't stop moving because we're afraid." He almost smiled. He agreed. All 4 of them agreed. Her third move was the one that ended everything. 347 pages. Every transaction, every shell company, every false account, every payment to every compromised official. The complete and total financial anatomy of Chairman Kang's shadow operation, organized with the precision of someone who had spent 3 years building it from the inside and knew exactly where every body was buried. She submitted it simultaneously to the Seoul Financial Crimes Unit's International Division, which had not been compromised because Chairman Kang hadn't known it existed until 6 months ago when a restructure created it. And to journalists at 3 major newspapers and 1 investigative outlet in Johannesburg, and then to Interpol's financial crimes desks in Lyon, France, all at exactly 6 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Then she went home. She cooked kusho, the Zulu dish of beans and corn her grandmother had made on days that required strength, and she ate it, slowly at her kitchen table while Seoul woke up outside her window. She did the dishes. She packed 2 bags. She sat down and called her mother. "Mama, Kwanda." Her mother's voice, warm and immediate. "What's wrong? You sound—" "I'm okay," Nokwanda said. "I just wanted to hear your voice." A pause. Her mother knew her too well for pretending. "What did you do?" Mrs. Dlamini asked quietly. Nokwanda almost laughed. "I did what you raised me to do." Another pause. Then her mother said, simply, the way only a mother can say a thing that holds everything. "Are you safe?" "Yes." "Are you coming home?" Nokwanda looked around her apartment, at the life she had built in this city, at the coat hook near the door that still had a spare coat on it that wasn't hers, at the framed photo on the desk that she had kept face down for weeks and had still not been able to throw away. "Soon," she said. "There's one more thing I have to do first." By 9 that morning, Chairman Kang's accounts were frozen. By 10, 3 of his lieutenants had been brought in for questioning. By noon, Yuna was detained at Incheon Airport, attempting to board a flight to Tokyo on a passport that turned out to be her 3rd identity in 4 countries. And by 2 in the afternoon, Kang Jae-won knew everything. "Don't you dare go anywhere, because what happens next?" That conversation, those words, that moment, is the part of this story that will stay with you for a long time. Stay with us. We are almost at the end, and it is worth every second. He came to her apartment at 8 that evening. Seoul's was raining. The kind of rain that doesn't fall so much as wrap itself around the city. Heavy, gray, relentless. The kind of rain Nokwanda had learned to associate with endings. She heard the knock and she already knew. She had known since 2 o'clock when Themba called to say Jae-won had been seen leaving Hukryong's headquarters alone. Without security, without a driver, which meant he was in the kind of pain that makes powerful men forget they need protecting. She opened the door. He looked like someone had taken everything that held him together and quietly removed it piece by piece. His tie was gone. His jacket was soaked. His eyes, those careful, controlled eyes that she had spent 3 years learning to read, were completely unguarded in a way she had never seen. Not even in Jeju. Not even in the dark. He looked at her standing in the doorway in her home clothes, 2 packed bags visible behind her, coat already on the hook ready to go. And something moved across his face that had no name in Korean or Zulu or any language she knew. "Nokwanda," he said. Just her name. Like it was the only word he had left. She stepped back and let him in, because she was not the kind of woman who finished a war and then refused to face what came after it. He walked in, stood in the middle of her living room, looked at the bags. "You're leaving," he said. "Yes. Tonight. Yes." He turned to face her fully. "I know everything. What my father built, what he planned to do to you, what you did to stop it." His voice was measured, but underneath the measure there was something shaking. "Nokwanda, he was going to destroy you. He was going to take everything you built here and use it to bury you. And I didn't. I didn't know." "I know you didn't," she said quietly. "Then why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you tell me what you found? I could have." "What, Jae-won?" She said it without cruelty, but without softness either. Just truth, plain and direct the way her mother had taught her. "What would you have done? The man who couldn't tell his father he loved me for 3 years. The man who kept me at careful distance in every public room because Chairman Kang hadn't approved? You would have gone to your father, and your father would have smiled and denied everything and then moved faster against me than he already was." She paused. "I couldn't risk it. Not with my life. Not with the Park and Lovu family's lives." He had no answer to that, because it was true, and they both knew it was true. And the truth of it sits each a wall. Neither of them had built intentionally, but both of them had contributed to brick by brick across 3 years of almost and not quite and not yet. "I kept your name clean," she said. "In everything I submitted, your name is not in a single document. Every transaction I flagged stops at your father's signature, not yours." He stared at her. "You protected me, after everything. You didn't know, Jae-won. I told you that already. Nokwanda." His voice broke on her name. Actually broke. "I stood in that room, and I introduced Yuna, and you were standing right there, and I didn't even look for you. I didn't even." He stopped, pressed his hand over his mouth for a moment, collected himself. "I didn't look for you, and you were the only person in that room who actually—" "Don't," she said it gently. "Don't do that to yourself right now. How are you this calm?" The question came out wrecked, almost angry, not at her, but at the sheer impossibility of her. "How are you standing there like that after everything?" "Because I cried my tear in a parking garage 3 weeks ago," she said. "One tear, Jae-won. I allowed myself one. And then I had work to do." He crossed the room in 3 steps, and she didn't move back. He stopped just in front of her, close enough that she could see every detail of the damage the day had done to him. And he said in Zulu, slowly, perfectly, every syllable exactly where it belonged. "Giakuksolela, Ngiyabonga. Ngiyakuthanda. I am sorry, I am grateful. I love you." She had taught him the first 2, that same afternoon she taught him the 3rd. She remembered it clearly now. A Sunday in her kitchen, him sitting on the counter eating her food and asking to learn more words. She had taught him those 3 in sequence. He had practiced them badly and made her laugh, and she had thought, standing in that kitchen, that she was the luckiest woman in Seoul. She looked at him now and felt the full weight of 3 years move through her like weather. "You practiced again," she said softly. "Every night," he said. "For 3 weeks, since the gala. I didn't know if I'd ever get to say it. I just needed to be able to say it correctly. Jae-won, tell me what to do." The power he carried, the authority, the control, all of it was gone. He was just a man, standing in a woman's living room in the rain, asking a key question he didn't know how to ask. "Tell me what I have to do, and I will do it, whatever it takes. I'll dissolve Hukryong. I'll start over. I'll go to Durban. I'll meet your mother. I'll learn every Zulu word that exists. Tell me what to do, and I will do it." Nokwanda looked at him for a long time. She thought about a bowl of ramyeon at 11:45 at night, a coat in her size on a hook she didn't ask for, a rooftop in Busan, and a beach in Jeju, and 3 years of being loved in private, by a man who hadn't yet figured out how to love her in public. She thought about a parking garage and one tier and 6 hours of work and mkusho eaten alone at dawn while an empire collapsed outside her window. She thought about her mother's voice, her father's dream. The beach in Durban she hadn't stood on in 3 years. She put her hand against his face. The way you touch something you know completely. The way you touch something you are choosing, with full information and open eyes, to leave behind. I believe you, she said. I believe every word. And that matters to me more than you know. She felt him lean into her hand the way a person leans into the last warm thing before winter. But Jae-won, I have spent 3 years making myself useful to your life, making myself legible to your world, shrinking just enough to fit through doors your father controlled. Her thumb moved gently across his cheek once. I need to go home and remember what I look like at full size. I need to stand on a beach in Durban and call my mother and eat food she cooked and sleep in a place where nobody is trying to use me or frame me or love me secretly in the dark. And then, he asked. She lowered her hand. My grandmother used to say, Indela ibuzwa kwaba fambili. The way forward is asked from those who have walked ahead. She stepped back, picked up her bag. I have walked ahead of you this entire time, Jae-won. Cleared every trap, lit every path. I need to walk ahead of myself now. Find out where I'm actually going. Nokwanda. His voice was barely there. She picked up the second bag, walked to the door, put her hand on the handle. She stopped. Without turning around, she said, The coat on the hook behind your office door. The one in my size that was always there when I was cold. A beat. I knew you put it there. I never told you I knew. I just want you to know. That was the version of you I loved most. The one that did quiet things hoping I would notice. She opened the door. Salakale, Jae-won, she said softly. Stay well. She walked out. Nokwanda Dlamini moved through Incheon Airport the following morning like a woman who had settled every debt the universe owed her. Head up, bags in hand. The particular walk of someone who has been through the fire and come out not unburned, but unbroken, which is a completely different thing. Themba was waiting at Or Tambo in Johannesburg with arms so wide open. She walked into them and stayed for a full minute without saying anything. You good? He asked into her hair. Getting there, she said. They drove to Durban that afternoon with the windows down and the radio up, and the landscape of home moving past her like a welcome back letter written by the earth itself. Her mother was standing at the gate when they arrived. No words, just arms. Just the particular smell of her mother's kitchen on her clothes, and the sound of Durbans settling around them like it had been, waiting. Later that evening, Nokwanda sat barefoot on the beach her father had brought her to when she was 5 years old. The Indian Ocean moved in and out like breathing. The sky was doing something extraordinary with the last of the light. Her phone buzzed. An unknown Korean number. One message. She opened it. Inside was a photo. The Hukryong signet ring, broken cleanly in half. And below it, 3 words in Zulu. Perfect spelling. Perfect spacing. Nyakuthanda, Nokwanda. She stared at it for a long time. The ocean moved in, moved out. She turned her phone face down in the sand, lifted her face to the last of the light, and smiled. Not for him, not for Seoul, not for any of it, but for herself. For the woman who had gone to a foreign city and loved dangerously, and been betrayed and dismantled an empire, and walked away whole. For Nokwanda Dlamini, who had never, not once, lost her strength. Ungafeli Amandla, she whispered. Don't lose your strength, the ocean answered. And that is where we leave her. Not waiting, not broken, not looking back, standing exactly where she was always supposed to be. On her own ground, in her own light, completely and entirely herself. If this story moved you, if Nokwanda moved you, please like this video right now. It takes 2 seconds and it means everything to us. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we tell stories like this every single week. Stories about women who refused to stay down, who loved with everything and still chose themselves when it mattered most. And drop a comment below. We want to know. Did she make the right choice walking away? Or should she have stayed? Tell us. We read every single one. And one more thing. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this story today. You know who they are. Send it to them right now. We'll see you in the next one. Don't lose your strength. She didn't just survive. She chose herself.